Hello, today is the anniversary of the death in 1986 of Henry Moore, the great British sculptor. And I was fascinated to hear recently him describe what it was that helped him to know that sculpture was going to be his thing.
Our parents used to send me and my younger sister to Sunday school on Sunday afternoons to get rid of us, I think mainly. And the Sunday school we went to was a congregational chapel, although we were Church of England. And the superintendent every Sunday used to give a talk about some little moral. Would always have a point to the talk. And one Sunday he told us about Michelangelo carving the head of an old faun in the streets of, in his studio in the streets of Florence. And that a passerby stood to watch Michelangelo carving this head of an old faun, and after watching 2 or 3 minutes said to Michelangelo, but an old faun wouldn't have all its teeth in. Michelangelo immediately, said the superintendent, took his chisel, knocked out 2 of the teeth, and there, he said, was a great man listening to the advice of other people, even though he didn't know them. Now, this story didn't stick in my mind for its moral, but merely that there was someone, Michelangelo, a great sculptor, and from then onwards, instead of saying, like most boys might, that one wanted to be an engine driver and so on, this just pinpointed something in my mind, and I knew from then onwards.
I found that account of his particularly interesting for 3 reasons. One is, I think it's extraordinary, isn't it, how that Sunday school teacher, just going about their ordinary weekly business of coming up with a lesson, but what they said had such a profound influence on the young Henry Moore. And I think all of us probably at some point or other have said something, particularly perhaps to a younger person, which may have stayed with them, may have influenced them, may even have changed the course of their life, but we didn't know it had happened. And I think that kind of interaction between us human beings is extraordinary. It may have happened to us that somebody said something that we found very challenging and important, but to them it was just an isolated comment. The second thing was how right the Sunday school teacher was in using that lesson, and how important it is to listen to people's advice. We don't always have to take it as Michelangelo did, but we want to allow ourselves to at least take it on board and consider whether it might be valuable, even if it comes from somebody who we wouldn't consider normally to have anything really very helpful to say on the particular subject in hand. And the third thing is to celebrate the way in which there is often something that is just right for each of us. You could call it a vocation, but that's sort of highfalutin. That's sort of about the way we give our lives to a particular role, a particular task, as Henry Moore did and others have done. But it also, I think, sometimes just in smaller things we can also just get the feeling that it is right to do something, or right to be somewhere, or we might just feel right in being or doing whatever's happening to us. And there's something very settling, something very calming, something very fulfilling in just having that sense of being in the right place at the right time. Well, I don't know whether any of those 3 things that occurred to me after hearing what Henry Moore had to say has rung any bells with you, but I hope it might, one of them at least, might have given you some food for thought for today.